Okay, what is up, guys? So Duke 5550 coming back with a video response
to that garbage ass nigga Shokio.
Yes, Shokio. I don't think he's garbage. Person behind me in the background, he thinks he is. But yes, the video response is is on uh the the problems in fighting games and fighters. And yes, let's talk about that real quick. Man, I had the website up here, but okay, let's talk about what he last said about what's the problem in fighting games. Which is the online. Um, I really would agree with you on that. Yeah, there's a lot of developers that they test the online and they finish the product and the online is all good and dandy, But the thing is, it's all up to the net coding to each of the regions, to each of the continents and shit. It takes to do a lot of work to do that, and to connect it to certain servers into one big server is it depends of the connection and of the host server as well. So yeah, I can understand that sense that some some fighting games that has online in it, which in this generation a lot of fighting games have online. Super Street Fighter 4, Virtual Fighter 5, Tech Attack Tournament 2, etc. Has issues in online to lag issues. Sure, because I experience what I experienced in because I'm into a lot of Super Street Fighter 4 games. I do gameplays of that, and what I experienced playing on online other online players is through their host server of their own. I try to find on PS3. There's so many players who they play in 1 or 2 bar connections due to them playing on wireless connection, and that's why for them, when I play against them, it especially like I find a lot of 1 bar red bar server hosts and host connections, and I'm it's like this is ridiculous. Like I'm playing, I want to play against these people, and I know that I'm gonna get this type of lag due to the host's connection. So I rather play a 2 or 3 bar connection. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I know what you get from there. I mean, yeah, I remember one time I played because I also played Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Toon Link, he's the man. Um, yes, I picked up him and I played online, and dude, the online is terrible. It's like shit. Like fuck that. It's because it's wireless connection, and it makes a lot of sense. But there's also the net coding. That's also part of the online dilemma in games in general. But fighting games, they do need to work on the developers, the programmers need to fix on the networking, and that I would agree with you in that. In some instances, most of the time I would agree with you, but also the net coding, it's a huge issue in the fighting game community when it comes to the online. As for the balancing system, that I want to really, this is the main issue that I want to talk about, and I want to keep this. I don't want to argue. This is I want to be like a serious discussion. Something that it's a mature discussion in this, because this is a serious thing in the fighting game community. The balancing system in some games do have issues. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 um, had an issue where Ogre was like basically doing infinites. I don't know if he was cheap or not, but he was doing infinites, and right away they did a patch. So yeah, there is games out there that they have cheap characters. One thing I didn't agree on what you said about Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is my favorite fighting game, is that Iceman is cheap. And when I play Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I don't see Iceman as a cheap character. In the sense that players like noobs, use Iceman because of the ice beam. There's ways to like counter that. You know, like if you play, because I went to an arcade and I know you saw Injustice: Gods of Among Us. You know, I'm not a fan of DC fighting games like that. I'm not a fan of Mortal Kombat. I think Mortal Kombat is a game that doesn't take any skill. My opinion, because like, yeah, sure, I understand you can do combos of that, but to be honest, I can do all those combos. And yeah, and I don't know about Ermac and Noob Saibot like that. I don't know. I never experienced like that because I have a friend who played Ermac, and I think he didn't play cheap. I think he played the way he's supposed to play at a skill set level. You know what I'm saying? Not in a way that you spam a same projectile or use the same telekinetic attack. Because you know Ormac does have the telekinetic attacks, but I don't. Back to Marvel's Chicago 2. I don't want to take too long on this video, but the tier list. I really don't have my camera's whack, so it can't look that well. But the tier list does connect to the cheap characters, and there's God tier, which is like the highest tier. In you should know this, Shokio. You should know already what the tier list. There's high, there's low, there's a high, medium, and low. In Street Fighter, there's S, there's A, B, C, and D. So as in the Super Smash Brothers series, the franchise. But in the God tier, in Marvel Chicago 2, Iceman is not in there. As a matter of fact, Iceman is in the mid tier section. He is he? Yes, he is. He's in the mid tier. So I don't think he's not a cheap character. If you want to talk about cheap character, Sentinel, he is bar none the cheapest character in Marvel Chicago 2. Like the cheapest because he has so many rocket punches, rocket missiles up the ass. It's ridiculous. I remember one time I was playing a fighting game around, and I faced this guy, and this guy is such a fucking noob. Like this guy goes back there, takes his sweet ass time. He just rocket punch, rocket punch. That's all he does. It's ridiculous. And Sentinel is the cheapest character in the game. I'm just letting you know because I don't think Iceman is a cheap character, unless if it's your way of seeing it. Like my perspective, what I see as a cheap character, I'll say this: Soul Calibur 1 and 2. I like the games. I'm not a huge fan of Soul Calibur, but I like the franchise. Keelik, that motherfucker has the like. To me, he's the cheapest character, in my opinion. I don't think he's cheap for as a popular on-demand audience of fighters. I don't think he's like the cheapest character, but I think for some people to say if he isn't, I might be wrong, but he might be a cheap character due to the advantage of his staff. Another thing I want to point out is that you said about this is the last thing I want to say before I end this video. This is my first thing, and then I want to say something else. But what you said about the character, if you pick a character that is fair and has a skill set, I don't know, I'm saying it wrong, but I heard it well. But a character has a fair and skill set versus the other character has that is a cheap character. Most of the time, a cheap character has the edge, has the advantage. I don't agree with that. There's matchups. The matchups matter. Matchups depends on which has a better advantage of a cheap character. You could say, just let's talk about. You say Smash Brothers. Meta Knight is the cheapest character. I agree with you. I think he is. Yes, I would agree with that. But most of the time, there's matchups, and I may be wrong. Maybe I could say that I don't know. Just to come up in my head, Kirby has a 7-3 advantage to Meta Knight, which I don't believe that's true. That's bullshit. But
What just happened?
I may be wrong. My facts might be wrong, but just an example, You see what I'm saying? Is the thing is all about matchups. It's what is really counts. You gotta find weak points, counters on the. You gotta counter pick on your other opponents. You gotta use a little strategy. You know what I'm saying? But on top of that, I don't think. To me, my issue was that too. But I found out why it's not like that no more. And when you play a lot of like professional level fighters fighting in fighting games, you learn a lot, man. You learn so much stuff that you when you face against a noob, like you know what he's gonna do next, and there's so much predictability. That's what you need to know. It's that a lot of noobs are predictable, and that's the thing that you have to realize. You have to find out what it's like a like for instance like a boss character. Boss characters has patterns, and the patterns you get find is predictability, and that's what I'm saying about in fighting games. You face against anybody offline, online, a noob. Most of the time they're gonna like either in Street Fighter you jump kick, jump heavy kick, and then sweep like a Ryu, a Ken, or etc. So and that's the thing. There's ways to beat noobs. You know what I'm saying? So I hopefully there's something that you can understand. Because I understand where you come from, Shokio. I feel you. But dude, I mean, I'm just saying from a fighting game, a fighting myself that I experienced a lot of fighting games. I played a lot of fighting games, a whole bunch of them. And I understand, man. I understand where you come from that. And the other thing about you saying about that, the testers, when they don't actually they don't test the game. That's not true because there's alpha betas, there's betas. They had to test the game before they finish it. You know what I'm saying? They gotta finish the game. They gotta test the game before they sell in a to the market. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna. They have to test it. They have to. That's why there's testers in the development team. Even tournament players who are in the fighting game community. They even have forums. They have blogs. So you go to shoryuken.com. You go to level up. I don't know if it's a fighting game website, but levelup.com, eventhubs.com. They have forums on gamers who plays fighting games. Hardcore hardcore gamers into fighting games. They have forums telling you like intricacies, details on what character is broken, what needs to be fixed. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I understand that there's some games that they do release it unbalanced. There's games that are balanced. They came out balanced. Virtual Fighter 5. Let's see. Virtual Fighter 5. I believe Street Fighter 4 before there was these patches, I think it was balanced. Even though that there were characters were overpowered. Sagat was the most overpowered, but there you can beat Sagat. You can beat Sagat. There's matchups. I think Street Fighter 4, Virtual Fighter 5, KOF 13, Kingdom Fighters 13 was completely balanced. Completely balanced from the start. I believe Soul Calibur 5, if I'm not mistaken, was also balanced. So there's a few fighting games that are balanced. And not a lot of people complain. But you have to realize tournament players, they do test their games. They test programmers. They do bring tournament players. Sorry, I'm messing up here, but they're bringing tournament players, and they do go to their the actual headquarters, and they do test them the games and see what they think, and see what they need to be fixed. And that's in a few game developers. So yeah, but yeah, this was interesting. I wanted to talk about because I'm like it's the fighting games I love, man, and it is true. You're right about the online. You're right about that, but there is games that they need to be they need to be balanced from the box, from the packaging. You know what I'm saying? But well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Shokyo, here's your video response. Hopefully I'm the first. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, this is pretty much it. From here, I don't know if I'm gonna do any other videos, but this is a pretty brief video. What do I think about the problems in fighters from Shokyo? So hopefully Shokyo, I hope you like this video response. And that's pretty much it. Doing 5550 signing off.